Yep.
You got me.
Hey, this is Asbog, the Gaming Orc, and we're going to talk about the best mid-range hunter. We've talked about it before. I put up a cheaper version of the deck on this channel that was used before, so this is for people who have a better deck, and this is, we've removed N'Zoth, and this is the first deck I've been able to get above rank 10 with, fairly quickly too, so it works really well, especially if you know how to play with it. It has a few cheese cards with it, and we're going to just quickly talk about some of the strengths with this deck. Basically, you have Alley Cat, and Alley Cat's one of the strongest hunter cards because if you're fighting someone like a mage or a rogue or a druid on turn 2, they can try to kill, you know, your Alley Cat or something, especially if you don't go first. It can create a challenge. Then you got Hungry Crab, and Hungry Crab is really good at. So we have the tech cards to fight off. I only was able to put one Hungry Crab in here because that's all I had. It costs 400 dust. And then I have this guy, he ended up putting in Jewel Macaw. So Jewel Macaw is an okay card, it's an Aggro card. The problem with it is it's weak, it's only a 1/1. But what it can do is add a late game curve for you. So it adds a random card to your hand, or a random beast, and most of the time you're probably going to get a pretty high level beast. You know, I actually drew 2 epic level 7 guys out of this, and I still lost the game, but off of Jewel Macaw. And so as the game went into the really late game, I still lost. I was fighting a Miracle Rogue, and he had 2 minions. He had 2 of those combos that can destroy your minions. So unfortunately, that's how that would. So instead of having 2 Hungry Crabs, I put in a Young Priestess. Yes, it's not a beast. This is like your tech card. You know, you could replace this with pretty much any card, like Eater of Secrets, N'Zoth, you know, pretty much anything. But I just wanted to match it, and I put a 1-drop. And this is surprisingly a really good card. It's one of the rare 1-drops that's also an epic, and it gives buffs your minions. And with a lot of the aggro, the strength behind this deck, statistically, is you're gonna, and the meta is pretty much aggro. You pretty much beat aggro pretty hard with this deck. Remember, it's only 1 card out of 32, but I find that I've been able to get, some games I get a lot of value out of this card, and then some games, you know, if you kill it with your hero power, I still do 2 damage to you, so, and it costs me 1 mana. So it's still pretty good. And typically I play it with conjunction with another minion, so it does buff another minion and give it +1 health. Crackling Razor Maw is just a really powerful card. It's like a lot of constructed, I guess, works off comboing. So that's why this deck is so strong, because you're playing beasts all the time, and a lot of things synergize off beasts. It's really easy to play beasts, get beasts out there, and everything synergizes with it really well. So Crackling Razor Maw, what you want to typically do is you play like Alley Cat. You Crackling Razor Maw, and you give it +3 attack if you can, and then you attack, go to the face. Galactic Crawler is the other tech card that this guy put in here. So basically you're fighting off like the Murloc Shamans, Murloc Paladins, or the Pirate Warriors. So whenever I fight a warrior, I always assume that it's a Pirate Warrior, and so I'm looking for Galactic Crawler. If I go on turn 2, it's perfect. You know, the best cards you can start with against Pirate Warrior is going to be Alley Cat, Galactic Crawler. So he's typically you're going to Galactic Crawl him right away. And I've played Pirate Warriors where I Galactic Crawl them, or I coin Galactic Crawler them, and they lose immediately. Kindly Grandmother is obviously a really OP card. It's a Death Rattle card, but it's really good for early game, and then it scales up to mid, again, to your sort of their mid-range hunter. Scavenging Hyena is like your combo card that works really well with a lot of your low minions we just talked about. So, but whenever a friendly beast dies, you get +2/+1, and that's where like the Young Priestess can really hurt you, I guess, because it's not a beast where everything synergizes with beasts. So again, you could replace this Young Beastess with some kind of beast card if you wanted to. So Scavenging Hyena, you know, is just one of the most powerful cards for Hunter. I just actually got to rank 10 through using Scavenging Hyena, fighting someone, and I just killed a bunch of things. and then it buffs it up insanely. It works really well with Unleash the Hounds and other really weak 1-drop minions that you're just killing off to basically buff, because for every 1-drop minion you kill, you die with it. Well, you get +1, so it works really well against the tanky decks like Control Warriors. And it's not fantastic. Like, you do need this card to beat those decks, in my opinion, but then they could still use like Execute, Brawl, and there's just a lot of ways to beat you. But against aggro decks, it's just a really great card. Animal Companion's really good. Again, it's sort of the luck of the draw. You know, you kind of hope for the best. All 3 Animals Companions are pretty decent. The Charge one is obviously could be the weakest one, but they're also kind of situational. And knowing your level of experience, like if you're on turn 7, sometimes I play the Animal Companion hoping for a particular Animal Companion drop. But if you think about it, if I play a turn 3 4/4 taunt, I mean, that's pretty decent. Eaglehorn Bow is just really good against aggro and single target and elimination. I was thinking about it, you don't really want to use this against the face unless you have 2 of these in your hand. It's just it's a good weapon, but you really are trying to clear the board with it and gain board control with this. Kill Command's really good for getting through, doing face damage of 5 or getting through tanky cards. Rat Pack is really powerful, and it synergizes well with Houndmaster. Rat Pack, it's just a great card. It's a death rattle card, so it could pair with N'Zoth again. This guy only put 1 Unleash the Hounds in, and actually I really like that, because typically Unleash the Hounds it's a really good combo card, but it's not fantastic. It's very situational, so you could try to mulligan for it. I personally, I'm trying to think. It really works. You really typically mulligan in it, and you want to fight like maybe a druid of some kind. I've used it against a druid who was playing, you know, the card where he is able to fill the whole board with 2/2s, and I was able to kill him by using Unleash the Hounds. And then you can play with, you could also have Scavenging Hyena, and it's a very powerful combo card with that. Houndmaster is just really powerful. Again, it's ramping up, and it also buffs and gives another minion taunt, so it can slow the minion down, or slow the aggro down on you, and as well it's also giving you +2/+2 that you go face with. Infested Wolf was a card that he only put 1 of them in there. Again, it's a death rattle card. I think he put it in here to sort of scale up. One interesting thing, unlike the other deck, he actually put 2 Tundra Rhinos, and I actually agree with this. Tundra Rhino is really, really powerful, because typically you're curving towards those later turns 5, 6, 7. Sometimes you can win below turn 4, because the guy will just give up on you, because you've comboed him too hard, he just gets a bad draw, or he's just frustrated. But Tundra Rhino then scales extremely well, because for whatever reason I have very good board control. And if you think about it, Tundra Rhino, as you play it, gives you 2 damage, and it's 5 health, so it does really good. So it works really well against aggro, because you typically can clear the board. You have to get creative with it, and then it pairs extremely well with any death rattle card, like, because you'll play it and you could destroy a minion and then do 2 more damage with the rats, and all that combos insanely well with Scavenging Hyena. So the most powerful thing about this deck is that it's insanely good against aggro most of the time, I think. And it's just a no thrills, we're trying to beat aggro, which is mostly the meta. This is the best deck I've played that I've had the most success with, that I'm able to go against, that I've actually been able to get above rank 10, and I'm actually going to try to push even higher up to like rank 5 or even legend with this deck. It's pretty obvious that hunters are the strongest class right now, and it seems like they've been really buffed since Mean Streets of Gadgeson, and it just seems like they're really powerful. The early to mid game ramp is really powerful, and also enables you to end the game. So if you really make it to turn 10 and you're not winning, you know, you might have 1 or 2 cards in your hand, unless you got the guy really low on health, like fighting Priest or something, like just get lucky draws against you. Just keep in mind that the really awesome thing about this deck, it's got about a 66% win rate. So that might not sound like amazing to you, but if you think about it, it means you win 2 games out of every 1 game. If you play the cards right and you know what you're mulliganing for, and you know the comboing that you're going to do. So just keep that in mind. So you're pretty much going to win 2 out of every 1 games. A lot of decent decks are about 55%. That's what I've noticed, at least, or they're roughly around 50%. So the reason why I don't want to stick N'Zoth in this deck is if I draw N'Zoth early, it's a dead card. So I'd rather draw like Young Priestess early, you know. But as the game, I very rarely, unfortunately with N'Zoth, very rarely do the games go long enough where I'm able to play N'Zoth. And then N'Zoth costs 10 mana to play. So the opponent's already usually pretty much dead. What I notice is this deck, you're going to kill him by like turn 8 most of the time. Check out some of these games I'm playing in. So we're at rank 9. I don't know how many Pirate Warriors are up here, but I'm assuming a lot. Still, like, I'm assuming all warriors are Pirate Warriors. Scavenge Hyena is really powerful, but we are looking for 1-drops. We're looking for the weapon. We are going first. We're looking for the Galaka Crawler. Scavenge Hyena is just really powerful, especially with this charge minion, but by that time it'll be too late, so I need a way to have early control. Scavenge Hyena probably works really well when you're reacting, so I could take a... Let's just try it. If we get very lucky, we'll get it. There's actually a few taunt warriors. There we go. We have to destroy the Goliath. We got to destroy the pirate. 1-drop. There we go. Perfect. Now, if we're very lucky, he'll play a pirate of some kind. We'll see what type of combo he is.
Fly, Polly!
So Patches comes out, he attacks both minions.
I'm in charge now.
That's fine. And I pretty much Galaka Crawl on him right away because it's turn 2. Okay, he's gonna play some card. That's fine. We're gonna destroy that minion. I don't know how these guys can react to this. I'm waiting to see how they will react. It's decent. Yeah, he's gonna attack it. Oh, nice. I don't even need to attack him.
I hunt alone.
Remember, he attacked it last turn with his hook. It's too bad I pulled 2 Scavenge Hyenas out. I bet the odds on you winning against Pirate Warrior increase dramatically after you play this card. Because he's kind of stuck. He probably have to play his 3-drop. I drew a very good anti-aggro weapon.
The pirate's code.
That's a waste. Now I'm just going to kill it.
I hunt alone.
This guy's in trouble. This game's over. So if he draws Arcanite Reaper, he has to waste it on that guy. That's it. The game's over. That's all because I play Galaka Crawler.
You asked.
So what I find when I'm fighting mages is the matches go pretty decently long. So I want to search for, I'm going second. So they have their hero power, right? So I'm going to try to coin out this guy. And just a general rule of thumb is I pretty much mulligan anything over 2 mana. I haven't fought too many quest guys, so I kind of drew 2 of these guys, so my mulligans didn't really help me this match. I was looking for like a 1-drop or a 2-drop or something like that, and we didn't get it. That's okay. You might be able to pull out cards as the game is going on. Using the coin right now isn't that effective, depending, because if he plays like Babbling Book, which is his 1-drop, that's his like strongest 1-drop. But you typically want to play stuff with Death Rattle so you can't just zap it with his hero power all the time and like board clear and clear up control. Most of the time that's the way I see these guys play. So he didn't play anything. So this is not a great card to play, but it's decent. So I don't want to play it right now. I want to coin, I want to do this, but I do want to synergize it. So I want him to basically think about wasting his hero power. That's the whole point. Like, I want, in the early matches against the Mage, like, I want him to either play, like, the Secret Mage. I've seen a lot of Secret Mages. So the question is, you know, should I hero power or use this? And actually, I want to play... So I want to force him to use his hero power. He's got 3 mana, which means he can frostbolt this, or he can hero power, which is 2 mana. Then he has 1 mana left over. There's not a lot he can do with 1 mana. See, he kind of wastes his turn a little bit.
To my side. Oh dear.
This start hasn't been really that great. You know, typically turn 3 or so. But I was able to buff this a little bit, so he can't just hero power it. So now he's got to waste like a spell. Most of these guys have like the running frostbolt to do early board clears.
An incredible discovery! Whoops.
So he didn't play.
Oh dear.
I'm playing that card even though it's not fantastic, because I can go into a 5 and 6 now. And that's kind of how we can roll out. He's got to start doing pressure. He's got to play. He's at 5 mana, so he's got to start doing something. That was a good move going face, because he just exchanged. That means he doesn't really have anything. This is like Vaporize or something. That's not a big deal at this point. It's elemental. This is really the only card I can play. That's fine.
Oh dear.
So now I actually have this card here.
Oh dear.
We'll see what he can do. Basically, he has to kill this card. So he has 4 damage. No, so he has to play it, something like that, like Fireball. It's interesting. He has a secret in his hand.
Oh dear.
Job's done.
I don't want to destroy my Death Rattle cards because I want him to have to waste stuff like Blizzard or Flame Strike or whatever, but he's up to 7 mana now, and he had 1 Mirror Entity. I knew that he probably did have Mirror Entity, but this is a pretty weak Mirror Entity because Mirror Entity doesn't work very well against these hunters because they don't have a lot of beasts in their hand. So he's doing only 2 damage with this, so he can try to kill this and then maybe kill that if he wanted to. He had a really bad 5-drop there. So what I do when I get Jeweled Macaw, you can see like I'm kind of evaluating things. I want to see what I get out of Jeweled Macaw, and it's garbage. I didn't get a good drop, so that's the negative behind Jeweled Macaw.
Oh dear.
So he could do 5 damage, and then 2, and then try to do a board clear. But then I have this guy, and then I can go on to Eaglehorn Bow into shooting him. That's fine. So now we have the Hyena, which is pretty good. But we could actually, I think, kill him almost. So I have no way to buff these guys, so I might as well. I can try to do it with the Hyena, but I got him so low, he's going to have to do something here. And so he's dead now.
I hunt alone.
It's a Golden Priest. You know, a lot of priests have been playing these Dragon Priests, which is pretty terrible. We're going to mulligan this card here, but this is a pretty decent card. The worst thing priests can do is draw Potion of Madness. Their best draw he could draw would be like So I always play Alley Cat first no matter what. And then if you Potion of Madness right away, that's okay. It's not bad. But typically, better priests are going to be more patient about it. They place any minion, play Scavenging Aid, and then you can try to destroy them. So I'm going to do that because I could do that, and then that means most priests are going to have Shadow Word Death or Pain. And we want to be able to suck that pain out. And this is just mana efficient.
Job's done.
He can't destroy a 4 damage minion, but he could Potion of Madness this and try to do 1 damage if he wanted to. Next turn I have Kill Command, so he could play 2. He could coin out the Elemental right now. So instead he did this one. Great, this is a very good drop.
To my side.
Now the question is do I want to kill that minion there? So you can do 3 damage to it. That's not a very good trade. So I mean, he had to coin it out, which means he probably doesn't have a 3-drop. He had to draw 3-drop. So he finally had True Shadow Word Death. Just totally expected. This is pretty good synergy. So you can kind of see the combo happening here a little bit better. See how everything synergizes. He already wasted 1 Shadow Word Death, so he could be a Kazakus priest. We don't know yet. See, there's a 2nd Shadow Word Death, which is fine. Okay, so we really kind of want to play minions out. I don't want to play this minion because it doesn't really... He could use a Potion of Madness on it. Even though he hasn't used it yet, he could draw it and then do... He probably couldn't even do that much damage, so... I'm trying to think how this could backfire on me. So these have 4. He could do a Holy Nova. We're going on turn 5 is Holy Nova, so he could destroy with Holy Nova, which would be fun. Which would be a waste.
Need a blessing?
It's the same card I put in my deck. So he gets no synergy out of this unless he plays another minion. He's trying to pull a card out of my deck. So I don't have any Murlocs in my deck, so that card's a big dud. That's decent. He gets the Power Word Shield that minion. Just does 2 damage. So he's actually in big time trouble. Let's figure out. So I have 6. He probably has a Potion of Madness. Or not Potion of Madness. He probably has Dragonfire Potion. So this is probably the only turn I'm going to be able to get him. I'm going to just see where we're at. So next turn he's pretty much dead unless he can't board clear. So he could have a Dragonfire Potion. I would have just went face, right? We're looking for Pirate Killing, and we did not get it.
Job's done.
Emerald Hive Queen. Oh wow. I feel like this is a terrible, terrible card to play, but I will play it anyways. It's a Control Warrior of some kind. It has to be.
To my side. Sharp gadgets and steel.
It's not that he mulliganed his quest. That's what it is. He mulliganed his quest. It's a taunt warrior, and he mulliganed his quest.
Let the pain speak to me. I hunt alone.
Done.
Your magic shall not save me.
It's an unusual tech card.
I hunt alone.
Job done.
Nice. Very lucky. Get over. Oh, not really. We're close. He just drawn both of his weapons now. But he mulliganed his quest, so this game should be pretty much over. But I guess they don't use the quest that much against hunters. Because by the time they would complete it, you can't really do it. You're kind of in this state right now. Nice. Beat him. Destroy a Murloc. Drew the one card I needed. It's like a 1 in 26 chance or something crazy. 1 in 25, something like that. There we go.
Well met. Thanks. Well played.
Eureka! I've done it!
Oh, wow.
I hunt alone.
So in theory, if I drew my other card, the healing card, against this guy, that'd be like me drawing the other Murloc. This guy's like shitting his pants. This is like all the Murlocs he has, like low tier Murlocs. Now I have a bow equipped. I can attack him again with another bow and clear him out. He's just trying to figure out what he's gonna do. Wasted it on that like a retard.
I hunt alone.
Job done.
Perfect. Well, not super perfect, but pretty perfect. He's got it to where he'll drop back into his hand.
I hunt alone. That minion already attacked. Out of my jungle!
Getting a lot of taunt minions. He's trying to slow me down a little bit. Alright, I think it's time.
Well played. I hunt alone.
Six damage to the face.
And plunder. Reporting for duty.
This kind of a strange deck that he is. It's kind of more control-y, which is what this deck has problems with. Oh my god.
By the holy light! Such big teeth I have. Oh dear! Better to eat run away. The light astounding.
This guy's a control paladin. There's no way you'd play those other cards. Yeah, that's 8. It's kind of a Murloc control paladin. That's what this has tried to do. But I think it's not a great idea. So he's kind of got early game and then late game cards. I don't know if that would really match. I think he's given up a lot of control for, what is it? He's given up a lot of control for, we'll see if he has like equality or something, because it feels like he would be missing these spells. Yeah, it's a Murloc Paladin, but he has a bunch of high-level cards. I wonder how he got those.
Well played.
Interesting.
To my kind.
Get down!
Yeah, what he's given up is... This is actually still pretty close. Not super close, but...
Put your faith in the light.
Yeah, this is... I haven't really seen a...
Well played.
Well fought. I can see.
Interesting. I've beaten paladins like that before, but it's difficult.